Hi, welcome to another edition of Never Too Late. I'm your host, Carol, the program that inspires you to follow your dreams. What is it that you wanted to do the first part of your life, and now you're on the second half of your life, and you're wondering what you're going to do? Well, Never Too Late suggests that the things that you didn't get to do the first time, you have a second chance to do it. Never Too Late speaks to the 50-plus community, but it has a universal message for everyone that has a dream and that they should pursue that dream. And it's never too late to follow that dream. And with me today is my guest, Marc Williams. He is a Wing-chun Sifu.
Hello, Carol. How are you?
I'm so doing well. I'm happy that you came to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Today we're going to be talking about martial arts, and there's a community of people, African Americans, who are teachers. They don't just take it, they actually teach martial arts. And Mr. Marc Williams is a Sifu, which is a teacher,
yes.
Correct? And first, for our audience, tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
I have been doing martial arts for probably the last 20 years. Various martial arts. I have black belts in karate and jiu-jitsu and aikido, but I've specialized and fell in love with Wing-chun. Wing-chun is a southern Chinese martial arts. It's conceptually based. It's based on energy and protecting the center and attacking your opponent's center. It's simplicity in motion. It doesn't have big, wide movements like karate. It doesn't use strength against strength. It's all about using your structure to offset your opponent. It's good for anybody of any age.
Okay, and now you mentioned that you have belts in karate, jiu-jitsu, and aikido.
Yes.
Okay, now first tell us the difference. What's the difference between karate, jiu-jitsu, and aikido?
Well, karate to some people would be considered a very hard linear style. Basically straightforward, reverse punch, kicks, blocks, punches. Jiu-jitsu is considered the soft art. Jiu-jitsu is more joint locking, offsetting the opponent's angle, breaking limbs. Aikido is more of a soft art where you blend with your opponent to offset the violence that he brings to you.
Okay, so Wing-chun, how do these three differ? How does Wing-chun differ from these
Wing-chun is Kung Fu. Wing-chun is a southern Chinese martial arts. Most southern Chinese martial arts deal with bridging or using your arms, because in southern China it was considered to be very crowded, so you didn't have a lot of room to do a lot of stuff. So it's based on sensitivity. You know, there's specific exercises that we do in Wing-chun to help you develop your sensitivity and your reflexes to be able to deal with someone attacking you in the most natural way possible.
And you said that you do it from your center. You want to elaborate some more on that?
Wing-chun works on developing your structure or your core. Your core is basically your waist and your hips. If you learn how to properly use your structure, you should be able to offset any kind of force that comes toward you without you overly relying on your muscles. A lot of the energy comes from your legs and your hips, and combined with proper movement, you can deal with pressure that comes in at you.
Okay, so is it now I know you say you have black belts in karate, jiu-jitsu, and aikido. Now, how long did you study that before you fell in love with Wing-chun?
Well, that's kind of a funny story, because the Wing-chun was in the same school as the karate, jiu-jitsu, and aikido.
Okay.
So I was the senior student. So one of my teachers said, okay, you finished with karate and jiu-jitsu, go to Wing-chun, and it went back and forth. So I was actually learning them at the same time.
The karate and jiu-jitsu?
And the Wing-chun.
And the Wing-chun. Okay. And how did the aikido fit into that?
Back in the old days, my Shihan always told me, basically, before he came to America, you learn karate, jiu-jitsu, and aikido all together as one. So that's why it was in the same school and I was learning everything all at once. It wasn't broken down like it is now. Everything in Wing-chun is about your ma, or your stance, your basic stance. If you don't have a good stance, you can't make everything else work. Karate introduces you right away to, you know, gives you basic stance work, but it gives you moving stance work. So you have to learn how to move and have your root at the same time. Where Wing-chun It's reportedly developed by a woman. You have to stress the strength of your core and your legs to develop everything else, because this is the engine that helps everything else work.
Oh, you were telling me about. Tell me the story about the woman that is a woman who did this.
Basically, from legend says, Ung Moi, who was supposedly the founder of Wing Chun, she was a Shaolin nun. She was considered one of the 5 elders. When the temple got burned by the Manchus, everyone all spread out. So Wing Chun, who was a girl who was in the local village, was being forced to marry someone. So Ung Moi, seeing this and wanted to help her, decided to teach her. So she taught her martial arts within a 2-year period. Because basically, you know, if she could defeat this man, she didn't have to marry him. So Ung Moi taught Yim Wing Chun. Yim Wing Chun learned in 2 years, and she defeated the man who she was supposedly forced to marry.
And you said she slimmed down the process, because you said usually this process...
Shaolin arts take about 20 years to learn. Ung Moi slimmed down the process. You should be able to learn Wing Chun within 3 to 5 years of consistent practice.
Okay, so she didn't have to marry the man.
No, she didn't have to marry the man who she was, as legend says, that she was supposedly forced to marry.
And she married the man she really wanted to marry.
Yes, and she taught the man she really wanted her system of Kung Fu, and he named the system after her.
Okay, well, that's interesting. A woman, I like that. Now, the time that it takes, like you said, it was, the essence of this, I know you said that they don't like to teach Westerners in the beginning, because you said this is a form that I remember Bruce Lee used.
Yes.
Okay, could you elaborate a little bit on that?
In terms of Bruce Lee, or
Bruce Lee using the Wing Chun and it becoming now.
Well, Wing Chun basically
became
more famous because of him, because he used it in his movies. He practiced it every day. Initially in Hong Kong, Wing Chun was considered to be a family system. Grandmaster Yip Man, who was Grandmaster of Hong Kong Wing Chun, decided to openly teach. So because of that, and he taught Bruce Lee and Bruce Lee shared it with other people, Wing Chun became more famous and more known in the Western world, and that's why a lot of other people decided they wanted to learn it. Because of Bruce and how good he looked doing it.
Yeah. So this is an art form that you could learn, you said 4 to 5 years?
3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years.
Depending on how hard you practice.
And seeing as how a woman came up with this art form, do a lot of women take this?
Unfortunately, no.
Is there any reason why?
Wing Chun is not something that you can pick up, in 6 months. I mean, if you work hard at it, you can develop some skills, but it takes time. Karate, most people in the Western world want to see instant results. You're not going to have instant results with Wing Chun. It takes time to progress. So, I mean, I wish there was more women in it. I wish there were more women teaching it, actually. Because it's a small person's art. It's developed to be able to offset someone who's bigger than you, but you have to understand and learn the right principles in order for you to do that. It takes 3 to 5 years to learn. It probably take you 10 years to master.
And what's the principles, or some of the principles?
Simplicity, efficiency of movement, centerline concepts. Like I said, basically protecting your center and attacking your opponent's center. In our system, there's 2 centerline concepts. There's a basic centerline, which runs from the top of your head to the tip of your navel, which divides the body into 2 halves, and all the major pressure points are along the center line. And then we have something that we call the central line. The central line basically deals with being able to face the point of contact. In the beginning of our forms, we do this and we do this. This defines our box of operations in front of our body, right here, where you can use both arms at the same time. Wing Chun deals a lot with blocking and striking in one motion. Most martial arts break it up into 2. We do it all at once. So those are some of the differences that we do.
Okay, and I think we have another clip where you will actually get to see Mr. Williams in action. There you go.
No, I got you guys.
Stop, stop. And your footwork.
I guess you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to explain this routine you were going?
Basically, just our system of Wing Chun stresses attacking the blind side and unbalancing your opponent. So a lot of the motions that we were doing, even though we were doing it slow and it was just in a drill format, was going over offsetting the angle. We don't want to stand directly in front of you, because if we stand directly in front of you, a person who's bigger than you can hit you just as much as you can hit them. We want to be able to use both our hands to his one. So this is why you see me stepping offline a lot, to make him try to turn to face me and I can hit him. And he still has to trouble because he has to try to connect with the other hand. So I want to offset him and either break his balance, bring him on his toes or on his heels.